Hey guys, Rocambasco here, and welcome back to another Halo challenge. Today I decided to beat Halo Reach with only assassinations. And why is my armor pink, you ask? Well, that's because those two things on my back aren't bubble shields. No sir, those are butt cheeks. The butt cheeks of a woman Spartan. I didn't want to join Noble Team because women are only allowed to join on the condition that they only use their bare hands to kill enemies. But unfortunately, I cheated in the dishwashing Olympics, so this was my punishment. And yes, I know that Kat is also a woman, but she was able to deceive everyone else since she looks like a little boy. The first 4 or so missions was all about learning how to do assassinations, and that may sound crazy, but listen my man, there's a lot more to it than just holding the melee button. The easiest enemies to assassinate in the game are the squid heads. They have the biggest assassination hitbox of all the enemies, and as long as you're behind them, you can always wrestle them to the ground and stab them right in the face before they tap out. Since I still didn't know the trick to assassinating grunts and I was having difficulty with skirmishers and jackals, I decided to focus mostly on the elites while my homies killed everything else. Anyway, mission 1 is pretty straightforward. We killed some aliens in the courtyard, Kat does some epic hacks, and I witnessed the saddest suicide bomb attempt in Halo history. George manhandles a fellow woman and tries to ask her if she wants to wash Noble Team's dishes, but then some elites come and abduct a man who just wants to die in peace, so now George and I have to go save him. There's good news and bad news. The good news is that George is very helpful at killing the aliens for me. The bad news is that I wouldn't have enough time to stop them from probing his butthole. Luckily, the elite in the next room was updating his Facebook status, so I could easily charge in there and change his status to being murdered. I did the same thing to his best friend. George helped me kill the grunts, and I beat the first mission. The second mission is the easiest mission in the game. As usual, I was having a fun time killing the elites and failing to kill everything else. But in this level, I was really getting the hang of killing jackals and dexterous dodos. You have to perfectly align your mangina with their assholes in order to perform the execution, or else you'll end up doing normal melee and have to reload the checkpoint. Later, we have a run-in with some hunters, but obviously they can't be assassinated, because they're fucking fat as fucking fuck. So anytime I encountered hunters, I would have to stand there looking like a lost puppy until my teammates killed them both. I ran past everyone in the facility until we reached the top floor. I stabbed 2 shield guns through their throats, and then I had to kill some invisible elites, which wasn't a problem because ever since I was a little girl, I would eat carrots for breakfast, lunch, and supper. My diet was unbalanced, but my eyesight was fucking powerful. So I finished them off, a meal destroys the phantom, and the mission ends. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the video, consider leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing. In mission 3, I finally get to use a gun, but June tells me not to use it because the bullets ain't cheap, so once again, I had to resort to assassination. I used my legs to get past everyone from the start of the level to the place where the spire is, and this is the first mission where I was able to get my hands on the hologram ability. But more importantly, it's where I finally learned the strategy of killing grunts. Grunts are usually no trouble in any challenge, but they've had enough of being treated like black licorice, and now they've evolved into their final forms. Grunts can only be assassinated if they're unaware of your presence, or if they're fleeing in terror, but if you get within a 20-foot radius of any grunt, their spider senses tingle, warning them of the inevitable woman. And in Halo Reach, grunts are braver than they are in any other Halo game, so it's very hard to get them into that state of fear to assassinate them. Hologram is definitely the best ability for grunts, because your hologram can distract them or scare them off, but 90% of the time they'll just ignore it, but it was still better than nothing. I made it a priority to kill as many sleeping enemies as possible, because once they woke up, it would be significantly harder to kill them all. Plus it's more peaceful to die in your sleep. But of course June had to go and be the worst sniper ever by alerting everyone in the neighborhood that we were here. Once again, some hunters wanted to join the party, So June killed them all while I killed some grunts, we ignored the rest of the enemies, and we beat the mission. Mission 4 is where things start to get difficult. In this mission, we have to destroy 2 anti-air guns, and obviously you can't assassinate it, so I used my grenade. Although I don't consider this a fail because it's not an enemy, and I've proven in my shotgun only challenge that it is possible to avoid them. Anyway, I made sure to assassinate the zealot on the way to the second AA gun, just because I can. We destroy the AA gun, we get through the Falcon part without an issue, and then we come to the last part of the mission. For some reason, our pilot entered the EMP field from high above ground, rather than going down to a lower altitude, so he gets the biggest idiot award. You can ignore everyone in this section except for the enemies in the tower, and killing the elite is easy enough, but those fucking grunts are a nightmare, so I had no choice but to force George into the elevator and use him as a mobile turret. This whole part took me about 20 minutes to complete, because dying isn't just a hobby, it's a fucking passion. Eventually, I was able to kill the sword elite and a grunt. George took out the rest of the trash, I hit the button, and the mission ends. Mission 5 is where I started to really get the hang of assassinations. So when the Covenant arrived on the beach, they were probably expecting to go for a nice swim in the water, but instead, they went swimming in pools of their own blood. But of course the main issue with this level is the saber section. This would seem like an immediate fail, but luckily the Covenant hasn't invented glasses yet, probably, so their pilots love to kill themselves. If you hang around the frigate, the Banshees and Seraphs will fly into the ship and kill themselves, so in no time they all crash and die, or they get shot by my comrades. On the last wave of enemies, you just have to wait for the station's turrets, your saber bros, and suicide to take out all the enemies, so I waited here for a few minutes, and then this section finally ended. But in the next section, you have to destroy the Corvette's engines to proceed with the mission. I tried waiting here for 20 minutes to see if the frigate would destroy the engines, but you have no choice but to do it yourself. I don't really consider this a fail because the engines aren't an enemy, but if you want to consider this a fail, then be my guest. Once we got inside the ship, I felt instant depression because there was an optimistic young Marine known as Boo Boo, but after I impaled a grunt in the face, his brother sought revenge and Boo Boo died to a boom boom. The hangar was really annoying because I kept dying or having to reload the checkpoint because the grunts wouldn't just let me snap their necks in peace. But after that, we cleared the bridge surprisingly easily. We hit the refueling sequence, we help George kill more dudes in the hangar, George asks Noble 6 for a date, but she refuses, so he pushes her out of the ship and he kills himself. And with that, the mission ends. The 6th mission is where brutes like to destroy my life. Brutes are the exact same as grunts in the way that they can't be assassinated if they can smell the smelly smell of a woman. But unlike the grunts, they have an even stronger spider sense, and they never cower in fear, so killing brutes is damn near impossible. This is where the camouflage ability would really come in handy, but for some reason it's not in the campaign, so I would have to resort to making use of the next best thing, assassinating them while they're focused on killing a civilian. My comrades were nice enough to help me kill the rest of the brutes, but the most difficult part of the challenge suddenly appeared like a nasty Pokemon. This part is filled with brutes and grunts, so I couldn't do anything to help besides kill some dodos and shield cunts. My men couldn't kill enemies fast enough, so as the time went on and deaths and anger kept building up, I had no choice but to become the very thing I resented, an easy mode player. And now I just acted as a distraction while my men killed everything, and in no time we could finally proceed with the mission. Next we had to secure the landing pad. Once again, this is another part that would be totally impossible without the help of my teammates, so I armed them with a fuel rod gun that I borrowed from a grunt, and armed the others with whatever else I found, and in no time, everyone was dead. You don't have to kill everyone in the Falcons section, and to beat the mission, I just had to activate the 3 missile batteries, so the mission was over in no time. Mission 7 isn't important. I only killed 4 grunts, and killing myself by accident counted as a kill apparently. but the 4 grunts I killed were just for the sake of having a good time. I ran past everything else while my teammates killed the enemies for me. Noble team found out Cat was secretly a woman, so she dies, and now we're on mission 8. I needed my teammates' help in this mission, so I got the Covenant's attention while my comrades put them down like a couple of sick dogs. I armed them with fuel rod guns, and we made our way to the Valley of Turrets. I did the same thing as usual. I got them to become pacifists, we gunned them down, and this time we were able to destroy the last turret thanks to my comrades. I proceeded through the doors, met up with the rest of Noble team, and made our way through the facility, using my hologram to trick enemies as I pinned them to the ground, and showed them how sharp my knife was. This last defense part took me a lot longer than it should have, but I was intent on killing as many enemies as possible, and of course I kept fucking up since I suck at this game, but anyway, in no time we enter Halsey's facility, we get our hands on Master Chief's waifu, we say bye bye to the Spanish sniper, and we beat the mission. Mission 9 is the final mission of Halo Reach. Carter asks Noble 6 on a date, but he's ugly, so we bail out of the Pelican to continue the mission on foot. Carter kills himself because of sadness, and we run past most of the enemies until we reach the Hunters. This is the last pair of Hunters in the game, and luckily I have a meal with me, so I took out the dodos while he focused on the Hunters. We assassinated more dudes and made it to the hardest part of the challenge. I was playing on easy mode, and I was still struggling like crazy to get past it. All I could do was arm my men with weapons and pray to Odin that they killed everything that I couldn't kill, which was 99% of the enemies on the battlefield. I helped out where I could, but I think I literally only killed 1 brute in this section. Anyway, they finish off the last dumbass. Keys takes my package, but I'm not allowed to leave the planet because I'm a woman. So they leave me, I take out some more elites, I fulfill my duty as a woman and cook 1 last Covenant ship. The Covenant kills me, and that's the end of Noble 6's story. So was I able to beat Halo Reach with only executions? If it wasn't for my teammates, I would have failed this challenge in literally every mission, so it's only possible with the help of teammates. If you want to count the AA guns, using the Saber and the MAC gun as fails, then go ahead, but these are all non-enemies, so I don't count them. Well, thanks for watching, consider leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one.